Hey, Mr. G here, getting ready to fillet some brown trout. We were out fishing this morning. It was a beautiful day. And we caught a couple. We brought these home for dinner. And so I'm going to show you what you need to have to fillet a trout. And so what we like to do is get a 2x6. And this 2x6 we've been using for, 15 years. You just sand it down, put some olive oil on it, use that to fillet your fish on every time. So we use a little 2x6 and we get some water in a bowl and then a trash bag for the waste. A fillet knife is extremely handy. They're longer, thinner, more flexible, and also making sure that you sharpen your knife before you get started. Okay, and so the knife is sharp, and now we're ready to start our fillet. So I'm going to be working today on brown trout, and I like to start just behind the gill plate here. It's kind of bony. You don't fillet starting up here by the eye, but just behind that operculum, we call it. And so I'm going to put this one off to the side. I'm going to grab my fillet knife, and I'm going to rest it right down behind that plate. I'm going to angle my knife slightly so that I'm not cutting straight down, I'm cutting across. And fish are vertebrates, and so they have a backbone. And so I'm going to rest, as I'm cutting, I'm resting my knife blade right next to the backbone and cutting some of those ribs that are there. So I'm going to set that all along the side of it, and you can kind of hear right there I'm cutting through some of the ribs, but I'm going right along the top of that backbone there. Okay. So now I have a nice, beautiful fillet. There can be some bones right along here with the ribs, and some bones here that you can pick out, with like a pair of pliers. But that is a really nice piece of meat right there. And I like to put it directly in some cold water. And as you can see, I haven't cut into the, where all the internal organs are. I've just been right on top of that bone. Then I flip it over, and I do the same thing. I'm going underneath that pec fin, I'm going at an angle, right on top. Now, if I don't want to have skin, right? If I don't want skin on my meat, I just flip that over. I take my knife and go right over the top of the skin. So now I have, again, I haven't really, punctured, any of the organs. I can just put that right here to my left in my bag. And I have a little bit of bones right here. And so I'm just going to run my knife right across there and cut out some of those ribs. And that's going to make it, really a nice fillet. And there we go. Nice fillet. It goes directly in that water. And I'm ready for the next one. Okay? And you can do this, really fast. When you practice it, get yourself a board, because that's what you want to cut it on. And get everything prepped before you go, so you're not like starting and having to stop. Okay? All right, we'll go ahead and get started on this one. So here again, we have our trout. It's laying on our board. I've got my fillet knife. And so I'm going to hold the head right here. My hands are out of the way, so if I slip, it's not going to hit, my hands or anybody else or anything that will cause any damage. So right here's the operculum, or the gill plate, so I'm right behind that. And I'm going to cut down not at an angle, and when I feel that bone, okay, I'm going to go straight across. So you can kind of hear that I'm cutting through the ribs, but I'm right on top of the spine. So now I have a beautiful fillet right there. And I can see a little bit of bone right here. And so I can just kind of get underneath that, you see, and cut off those ribs. And there's a few bones right here again that I say, you can take and pull out with some pliers. So I'll take that and then put that in here. I'll flip it over and do the same thing. Hold it, get underneath, grab the head, and then this one I'm going to take the skin off, and I'm going to go down pretty close to it. want to stop, flip it over. Okay, so I went deep on that one. I'm going to grab the skin. Notice here that I'm cutting right along that skin, and I'm holding that there as I'm cutting. And now I have just skin and muscle, and I just clean that off. I have ourselves a really nice piece of meat. Okay. Again, it is important to have your knife, nice and sharp before you start to, fillet. So a beautiful piece of meat. I stick that in here and wash it off, and we'll show you. I like to run the hose over that as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and clean our fillets more. All right, so now we're going to run some water across the fillets and just clean them off. I like to empty that out and get any debris. Look at how nice that looks, though. These are brown trout. Collected cold mountain stream today. Caught them on rapalas and a jig. We were fly fishing too, but we didn't get anything, with the flies today, which is unusual. But look at how nice that is. It's not dirty, you guys. You do it right, it stays nice and clean. I will take these fillets and put them in a plastic bag and put them in the fridge until later tonight when we're going to cook them. So they just came out of the river, and within 6 hours they'll be on our plates. All right, so now you got to clean off your board. So you can spray that down. I like to just kind of scrub it down with your hand or a towel. And then you want to wash off your knife. So you can, again, just scrub that off with a cloth. Just get all any remains off that, the scales, and then you can wash it off with soap and water in the house. To clean up, we're going to take the rest of the fish. It's in the bag. And we want to tie this off and put it in the garbage. And to do that, I usually just twist it like so. I mean, there are a lot of ways to doing this, you guys. I'm just kind of showing you, what I do. And it's worked well for us, over the years. Because this will stink. And I'll give you another little trick that I've done that's helped. So if the garbage man is coming today or tomorrow, this would be great because it's not going to stink in the trash. But if the garbage man isn't coming till next week, what I would do is I would actually put this in the freezer. It's clean. I'd put it in the freezer so it stays frozen, and then on trash day, I would take this the frozen material out of the freezer and then put it in the trash can. Because if you put it in the trash can, you guys, like this, and it sits there for a week, it's going to stink. All right? So you put your knot here. Right, then you go back over it again like this, and so you're double sealing it without using, 2 bags. You're only using 1 bag, and getting that nice and tight. Okay. And then, my friends, you are done and all cleaned up. Thanks y'all for joining me, and I hope that now filleting a fish won't be as intimidating to you, that as you go out fishing and want to bring some of them home to feed your family, that you can gather the materials that you need that we've shown here and try it. Fillet the fish and feed that to your family. It's good food, excellent protein. Thanks again for joining us. You can subscribe down below. We appreciate your support, and happy fishing.